It had been Katie's birthday 3 weeks previous, and I decided it'd be a nice kind of just a little romantic getaway.
It's one of the most mythic musical in Paris.
We were thinking we would have one of the best nights of our lives. We've seen Jesse standing there, so we asked him if he was okay for pictures, and he said of course. And yeah, he did say to us, for you babies tonight I will rock this place, and I was really excited about it, so I did post it on Twitter.
We were thinking it probably, to avoid, we'll say, going into the big crowd, it was kind of more fun to maybe to stand back just by the door.
In that picture, we're just behind a pole. There's a few steps down to the main dance floor, and the bar is behind us, and the doors the entrance is directly behind us.
I post my traditional picture on Facebook. We took some videos, and I remember we said that it was probably one of the best concerts we have seen because of the energy of the bands and the ambience also of the public.
C'est lié au public, des fois quelqu'un qui fume à l'intérieur, quelqu'un qui a bu trop d'alcool, mais rien de relativement méchant.
It's one of the most beautiful venues in Paris. I was probably the third or fourth one to get in, and just put myself on the barrier in the middle.
It was the first time I was seeing them on stage, and it was fun. It was very fun until the 5 or 6 song where it all began.
Parce qu'il y avait, on a vu les vitres tomber, éclater. Tout ce que j'ai ressenti, c'est l'instinct de survie. Ça pétait dans tous les sens, c'est-à-dire les vitres ont éclaté, il y a une personne qui était en train de fumer qui est tombée. Et puis c'était une scène de guerre, quoi, dès le départ.
We heard, kind of clack, 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 something very weird.
Rentrer dans la salle et trouver tout de suite les portes de secours pour retrouver l'extérieur, puisque nous c'était comme un piège en fait, parce que ils arrivent en face de nous. Nous, il n'y a pas d'accès.
I felt a knock like this, and I felt hot, like a drink spilled on my shoulder. And David was standing behind me, kind of protecting me from getting bashed or moved around in the concert. And I turned to David, and as I said, did somebody spill their drink?
There was flashes, sparks, and the noise of, persistent
Gunfire.
Like gunfire, exactly.
That sound wasn't a good sound, but I thought the only way to know is look up and look at the guys on stage. And I saw them looking up all towards the entrance, and their mouths just dropped, and I could see fear, and I knew there was death on their faces, that look that they had.
I'd seen a silhouette of a man, but at that point the crowd kind of fell to the side.
People were dropping that had been hit at this stage. There was a couple just in front of me, and the man definitely dropped, and I believe that maybe what I thought was the drink spilling was his blood hitting me. I don't know. As the gunfire never stopped, really, for what seems like forever. And when we were on the floor, David climbed on top of me to protect me. And it was very apparent people were dying around us and that there was some sort of massacre happening, and we were part of it.
I felt people falling, everyone, like dominoes. And my body got squeezed against the barrier. And that's when I tried to jump, but couldn't jump. And I realized that my right leg was stuck. And I knew that's because of the people falling. And I tried once. I was just bouncing on that barrier, and I kept thinking, the next one is for you. My body was ready to take a shot at any time.
It was the noise, the moaning, and the blood. We dropped to the floor, and the floor was just filled with blood.
I couldn't see my friends, it was still really dark. But I knew that they were on the floor, probably underneath people. And then I could see all those people. It looked like mountains of people. And then I looked up, and I remember seeing the purple lights from the bar with the bar sign, and then just those flash. And I knew that was bullets.
Comme je connais le Bataclan et je ne pouvais pas, la porte était fermée, elle était solide. Et là, dans l'escalier, c'est le moment, malgré ce qui s'est passé à l'extérieur, pour nous, c'est le plus violent. C'est-à-dire que on entendait tout, les escaliers sont serrés, il y a énormément de monde. Donc je réussis à arriver là-haut. Et puis là, le temps il a l'air tellement long, même moi je panique.
I knew why my leg was stuck, but was it because people were just scared, or was it because they were dead? This is why when I thought of asking them, can you please help me? I just thought it's selfish. I knew that people were hurt. I could feel people dying. People don't believe in spirit and souls, but no, I remember feeling. Yeah.
You could feel people's souls leaving their bodies.
Yeah. And no, I wished I could stop it the whole time. I kept thinking, what could you do? But there was nothing we could do.
The lights came on, and when they did, it wasn't just, I think that's blood, it's, I'm definitely covered in blood. I'm definitely face down in blood. This is definitely a man that's been shot. This is definitely happening. We can see it now. And I watched as he died, really, and we were looking at each other, and I turned my head, and to my right there was a girl who David saw too.
Yeah, she was lying and she was motionless, and again it was clear that she was dead at that point.
We hide ourselves with my brother, and each time we just try to stand up to see there is some shooting, so you protect yourself.
Et là, il y a une dame qui a peur, qui crie, donc je me suis repris. Et donc là, il y a une trappe qui se trouve en haut. Donc on a escaladé avec le régisseur pour ouvrir la trappe, et puis là on s'est mis à soulever tout le monde.
I think my first instinct was just to protect her you know, shield her, whatever I could do, because, you know, when you love someone, you want to protect them. And I think that was my initial, like, instinct, was to, okay, make sure she's okay, you know. Protect her and save her.
There came a point, the shots were getting closer and closer, and the floorboards would quake. With each shot, the floor would just vibrate, and it felt like it was just beside us. And I said to David, "This is it, I love you, goodbye." Yeah. Just thought about our families, and that was it. Just kept telling you I loved you. I didn't want you to die hearing the gunfire, much like I didn't want that man to die looking at them.
I just kind of looked to my side, and I could see there were just black soled boots with black leather, I think. And he just walked within feet of us. And again, I thought, this is the moment. He's going to point at us now. And we were the next to be shot. And somehow he just walked by, and he didn't turn the gun at us.
Puis voilà, moi-même j'ai pu après rejoindre le toit, et là je motivais les gens pour que les gens accélèrent. C'était vraiment explosif.
Was when I was in front of one terrorist, and I was thinking he will kill my brother, and he's communicating with me. I asked him to close the door, and I said, just please no, let my brother coming.
How many people escaped through that hatch?
I think about 50, something like that, between 40 and 50. When we arrive on the roof, you have a guy with very safe voice, just asking, come here, trust in me. I think it's a guy from a staff or safety staff.
Quand nous on est sortis, ben là il y a un appartement avec une échelle. Et on réussit avec la fenêtre qui est ouverte. Et là, allez, tout le monde.
When we saw the two terrorists on the first floor at the other end of the room coming to us, we tried to escape between the seats on the balcony, but they had seen us. So they start to come and asking us to gather in a corner. They said, "We are not going to kill you." That's the first word I heard from them, which was bizarre, because everyone in the Bataclan was thinking they're going to kill us.
The guys started firing. I don't know if they saw us or if they just managed to reload again. And we both dropped because we knew it wasn't safe. They're firing again.
I just saw it in my peripheral vision that these doors burst open, and I don't know who opened them or how they became open, if someone inside did it, if someone outside had come in, but I saw them, and I said to Katie, we've got to go, we've got to move.
So I laid on my stomach and I crawled, wiping the blood with my clothes, but just keep crawling, and I was so scared to look behind me.
Other people ran with us at that point. We're not sure how many really, but we remember there was dead bodies on the floor, and we were almost stumbling to get to the door, and we ran down. When I say ran, we stumbled down, I think it was about 3 steps, and we were out on the street.
I think that's going outside, that's when maybe for a few seconds I lost it. I couldn't breathe, I just hold my head and through what is happening? Why? I became me again.
At this moment, I heard the voice of the third terrorist who was still downstairs, and they are talking to each other, the two with their Kalashnikov upstairs on the balcony, and the other one downstairs. There was a huge explosion in the stage. I think they understood, and that's why they asked us to go with them in the corridor.
We were trying to run and I was looking at David. I was ahead of him and I was thinking, like, hurry up, come on, you can't.
Yeah,
this isn't
sure.
the time to kind of let it all sink in and look, we have to keep running. And
Yeah, I think,
he kind of just said to me, I can't run, I've been shot.
yeah.
They took some banknotes out of their pocket, like 50 euro banknotes, and asked one of the hostages, Sébastien, to burn them. At this point, I can imagine they wanted to show that they had not any interest in life because they were here to die, so they didn't need any banknotes anymore.
They closed the windows, we switched off all the things, so TVs, lights, of course, everything, and everybody were just hide, on the floor. They're all playing with their smartphone. We spent a lot of time to communicate with friends, people, family, and so on, because all the other who knows we were there send text message or call. I post also a picture on Facebook. So when people realize something happened there, we receive a lot of messaging.
They told us that we could thank our president because of the bombing in Syria and Iraq, and they were from Islamic State.
Were they scared? Were they angry?
They looked very determined. Maybe they had taken drugs. They were doing what they had to do.
And I think I said, where? Like, where have you been shot? And he said, your foot. And I was like, right, okay,
Yeah.
I'll drag you, so.
I looked down and I could see my shoe was filled with blood and it was pumping out of my foot and I couldn't run any further. And Katie told me we have to keep going. She basically dragged me to safety because at that point I was beginning to almost pass out.
They were getting nervous because they wanted the police to stay far from the corridor.
There is also big silence. We saw before the final assault some, red lights. So we know that people are on the roof, the snipers on. So we know that policemen are there.
Every hostage is very quiet. We didn't talk to each other. The three hostages behind the door, the terrorists were giving orders to these hostages, asking them to listen to what was happening inside the Bataclan. And for the six of us that were standing in front of the window, our only action was to look what was happening in front.
How many people we are, where we are, if we are safe, if there is injuries. They ask for if we see the explosive belt.
The terrorists asked one of the hostages to yell its smartphone number to the police. During this period, they had more or less 5 or 6 calls. The terrorists were only saying, we have hostages, we have explosive belts. If you come too close, we are going to kill the hostages, so stay far. They seem not to have any demand, so it gave more impact for me on the fact that they were going to kill us.
Because there's a lot of shoots and explosions.
On entendait des gros booms, des gros booms, des gros booms.
The police throws stun grenades, and at this moment I fell. I think I was the last hostage, or maybe one of the last, and I can remember precisely of the image of one of the terrorists shooting. In one hand he has his Kalashnikov, and on the other hand with his finger on the detonator. The 2 terrorists are escaping using the stairs, and at this moment the police start shooting. I'm still wondering why he didn't trigger his detonator at this moment. If so, we would have all been killed. When the police took us out of the corridor, they said, don't look on what's happening in front of the stage. But it was not easy for us not to give a look.
How can you think like that, that walking in and shooting people in the back while they're having fun at a concert, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't think it makes sense to you either. It's just...
Il y a le diable, et il y a après le diable. Et eux, ils sont après le diable.
How are you sleeping?
Not very well. Yeah, a lot of nightmares.
I'm doing that dream every time because I think my brain is trying to let me see what at that time it protected me from. And every night is the same dream, black background, mountains of body and bullet.
I don't feel any anger or hatred. It's just a sadness. I feel sad about everybody that was there, whether the ones shooting or the people who were shot. I just feel very sad, and there's no point in being angry. It's done.